Earlier this year, I was in Virginia, and as most of us would do, I went to the beach to reflect on many thoughts that were dancing in my mind. It was cold, bitter cold, and windy too. No sane person would have been on the beach on a day when there were icicles on the grains of sands that clogged my ears. I was intrepid, as my unsteady tripod and I were determined to record the clouds whizzing by as the sands of Virginia made their way to Europe. It was cold, bitter cold, and windy too. It was no accident that being on the beach invoked my nautical days, and I reflected on an education that I would not have had otherwise. The freezing winds was reminiscent of my sailor days on the North Atlantic in the middle of winter, and my well-earned blue nose as we went into the Arctic. I thought about a time, it wasn't that long ago, it just seems that way, when I was in the company of a very warm, wonderful, beautiful, and matured woman, sensual too, and how, against my inner desires, I pretended to be so well behaved, a gentleman, making sure not to give even the slightest hint of how manly I felt in her presence. Had I made a pass, civilized and creative to be sure, yet it might not have been construed as such and would have been thought of as a verbal assault. She will never know how I felt, and I will never cross the line to compromise her virtual world. As I look down this beach, I can still recall a time when a man would say, as corny as it may sound, "Hey baby, you look fantastic." Now, of course, to say that to a woman is a guaranteed way to get arrested. What's the charge? Assault. Now in the 21st century, fingers are used on joysticks. Lips are hardly ever opened anymore. Artificial means of enjoyment has taken the place of intimacy. Intercourse, meaning conversation, has given way to iPads and texting. Telephone calls are for gossiping, if it happens at all, and women are so much safer now with their window shades drawn, and their avoidance of men is thought of as security. Lonely? Are they lonely? These women who retreat into their concrete walls called apartments? No, they're not. Not when there's Netflix, toys, ABC, Lifetime Channel, and Oxygen to remind them of how horrible men are. Besides, they will tell you, giving up their freedom to be interactive with men is a small price to pay for their security. As for men, they no longer know the meaning of live courtship, not when there's a virtual dating site. I am a sailor, I'm archaic and ancient. I love the sea and the real women of faraway ports. How many white hats have I lost, and friends that I've made, who have kept in touch all these years? That's the old-fashioned way. How many times have I danced with a stranger in a strange land and held on to memories of what might have been? How many times have we weighed anchor, yet the perfume lingered amidst the diesel oil? Oh well. Somewhere there is someone who still clings to intimacy and the value of personal touches in silence. Somewhere someone has escaped the grips of the virtual world and, like an intrepid sailor, will go in search of old-fashioned values such as love. No monthly fees required. Woman who still values the manly and sincere advances of a man who can appreciate a feminine female who refuses to apologize for her womanhood. Brave souls indeed. Did I mention that it was cold, bitter cold, and windy too?